You know, if it's Tuesday, it can mean only one thing. It means it's time for Comic Book School Live, the show that talks to you about the craft and business of making comics. My name is Buddy Scalera, and I am a comic book writer, and I am joined by my good friend Mike Fasolo, who is a 3-time Emmy Award-winning television writer. Those are the Emmys. Those are the Emmys. So, enough?
You gotta take that off the roof.
Is that enough? So, Mike, one of the things that we really like to do on Comic Book School is really dive into the craft. But you know what? Part of the craft is the business. And most people fall apart at the business. And I think that I have spoken many a times about my disappointment with publishing. It's really hard to do, right?
It's very hard. Yes, I know.
Very hard. Did you notice that I'm growing in a little bit of?
Oh, I noticed. I really picked up on that. I was going to mention it, and then you started talking, so I couldn't.
Does it make me more sexy or less sexy?
Well, obviously more.
More sexy. I am doing this for Movember. It's for men's health, for a variety of men's health issues. Did you start that growth today?
This was, I think, at 4 o'clock our time.
4 o'clock our time. So, Mike, this is now it's the 12th. So it's been 12 days. This is 12 days of growth.
Okay, so we're not shaving for the rest of the month.
We're much to the chagrin of my wife.
Okay, I'll let my wife know that I will not be shaving.
So our guest in the guest room does not care. Mike, are you running comments tonight? Oh, look like a 60-year-old Bill Murray. That hurts, man. Glenn, that hurts.
Well,
Wow.
60-year-old's not too bad.
He's aging me. Mike might have Emmys behind him, but Buddy has action figures. So who's the true winner? I don't know. It's pretty.
Buddy is.
Do you notice that the background's changed?
I do. I was wondering why you switched positions.
I changed my office around. I moved everying around.
So that's where it used to be?
This is the original office. Then I moved it to look more professional, and then I decided that doesn't suit me.
Yeah, I don't know why you wanted to look more professional.
I don't either. But speaking of professional, Mike, we actually do have a real guest here. He is the CEO and Chief Creative Officer of Mad Cave Studios. Oh, hold on. Before we do it, go ahead, Mike. Go.
Good day, Andrew. Crikey. How's things down under?
I have to tell you, Mike, you are a man of many, many accents.
Yep.
And all of them spot on.
Yes, of course.
All of them spot on. Anyway, we have the CEO and Chief Creative Officer of Mad Cave Studio, what appears to be the fastest growing independent studio in comic book publishing. Oh, hold on. What's the question?
I was wondering, is that why Mike had to add new lighting? I didn't add new lighting.
You did add new lighting, Mike. It looks like an angel is shining up over you.
Well, maybe.
Is it a halo?
I don't know. It's not. It's the same room and the same lighting that I always have on. Maybe it's just because it's darker in here now.
You think we should get our guest in here eventually?
Well, yeah, I would hope so.
All right, let's welcome our guest, CEO and Chief Creative Officer of Mad Cave Studios, Mark London.
Hi, Mark.
Mark, thank you so much for being patient in the green room. Banter's only supposed to last about 1 minute. But we've decided that we will go a little bit longer because of my beard and Mike's lighting.
No, I was completely having fun backstage. So keep going, guys.
So, Mark, you are calling in from sunny California, right?
Yes, sir, I am.
And Mike, you're there too. Why didn't you guys drive and meet halfway?
That's a long, right? San Diego's like an hour, 2 hours away.
Is it really?
Yeah. We're like 2 hours away from each other, so yeah.
2 hours away, but it's still nice there. It's still early there, and we've got plenty of time. Mark originally, Mike, was going to have a hard stop at 1 hour and promise us the full 4 hours for tonight.
Okay.
So we are going to be talking with Mark. Mark is, by all accounts, Mike, making things happen. We have had no less than 4 or 5 of his people on the show, and we finally were able to convince the staff that we mean no harm, and we will treat your CEO very well. So, Mark, you're in for a ride. We really appreciate you joining us. Any last words before we put you through the ringer?
Bring it. I mean, I'm happy to be here with you two guys. So,
all right. So, Mark was saying, interestingly enough, that one of the things that he was challenged by when he was coming up was finding good quality educational materials. And I don't want to put words in your mouth, Mark, but I think I will. That's why you love Comc Book School. Am I right?
I do.
All right. So I'm going to just put words in other people's mouths. Mark, I have to say, congratulations on 10 years of publishing. No one would have imagined that any indie would last that long. Indies rarely last that long unless it's just like one or two people putting out an occasional book. You're an actual publisher, which is just, you are defying the odds at every turn.
Well, thank you for saying that. Sometimes, I mean, I have to pinch myself because I think that it's really surreal, the journey that we had. But I mean, I can't complain. I mean, I love what I do. I love my team. I love everybody in comics. So again, I'm in a very blessed position, buddy.
You are. Mike, did you hear what he said? He can't complain. You need to listen when Mark says you can't complain, and just use that as your mantra for going forward, Mike.
That's rough. That's one thing I love doing.
All right. So, Mark, very quick, just to ground us, Mad Cave is the umbrella publisher, but you do have distinct lines. We're going to breeze through and show examples of all of these. I have images that were provided by your publicist, Allison Pond, who is awesome. I think she is wonderful. Let's clap for Allison. She is great. She's really great. So, Mark, what is Mad Cave, and then how does it differentiate from Maverick, Papercutz, and Nakama?
Mad Cave is just traditional comic book, graphic novel publisher. I mean, it's the comic books that we grew up reading. Obviously, not superheroes, but more like creator-owned original stories. They might be 15 plus. In age, if you would. I mean, sometimes, I mean, you would get your R-rated material with Mad Cave because of the subject matter. It's published for adults. But then you have Maverick, which is our young adult imprint, and obviously skews younger. Different demographic, different type of stories, graphic novel, not single issues as you are used to with Mad Cave. And then we have Papercutz, which is our middle grade imprint for the young readers. We publish stuff from Asterisk, from Smurfs, from Encanto, Frozen, some of the Disney properties. And then next year, we're coming out with Nakama Press, which is going to be our manga imprint, our genuine manga imprint, because we're taking some creators from Asia, basically, just to come and do their best work here at Mad Cave through Nakama Press.
I mean, when I think of Mad Cave, I guess I think primarily of the Mad Cave primary line of creator-owned. Sure. And I guess that's where it all began. And you were kind enough to show us your early beginnings. Actually, this is a more current photo of where you are now. I have lots of photos from you. Since we're on this, I should note that is the real Flash Gordon, right?
Yes, that is the real Flash Gordon. Yes, sir.
The real you got Flash Gordon to stand next to
he actually yes, he actually came to our party. How many people can say that? Like the real Flash Gordon, Mr. Sam Jones, came to our party.
Mike, why don't we go
anniversary party?
Why don't we go to parties like this?
It's not about the parties. It's why can't we get these people to come on the show?
Yeah, I'm not sure what now. Who's bottom left there before we get to the crowd shot?
Oh, that's Oliver. He was an Eisner winner right now. So
congratulations!
The year, yeah, with Mushroom Knight. Oliver Bly, and he he's such an amazing talent. And
Is that your first Eisner win?
Yes. Well, published through Mad Cave. I mean, he did all the good work.
Congratulations on your first Eisner win. And now this is a rather growing team. This is your crowd shot. Mike, you're going to have to read out because I can't see the comment. What was the comment?
The comment was he would go to a Flesh Gordon party. We're gonna take that as a typo because he's Australian.
Yeah. Flesh Gordon. We don't know what that reference is. Read out Glenn's question.
So Namaka is going to a true manga publisher, not using Western artists, doing Japanese style artists.
Mark, I think that we're going to phrase that in the form of a question.
Correct. That's the plan. That's the plan with Nakama. That's the plan at the beginning, at least. I mean, I know that a lot of American writers, a lot of American artists, they do want to take a stab at manga. So of course we will contemplate that. Mad Cave is a creator owned home. It's a homegrown home where we actually come up with also our own ideas, and we are a licensed partner home where we basically just bring properties like Flash Gordon. So I'm sure that down the line, I mean, we will definitely test the waters with new styles, different approaches, I mean, to manga, and hopefully we can give you guys something to really look out for. So we'll see. But at least right now, at the beginning, at this initial phase of Nakama, we're starting traditional.
Well, Mark, so this is your what is this? Your group, your team shot. Where are you in this team shot?
Yes, this was basically just a few blocks away from San Diego Comic-Con. We had a venue where we decided just to celebrate our 10-year anniversary. We had a couple of people that have been nice to Mad Cave over the years, and they have supported us. But again, the party was for that group of people that you see in that photo.
I'd like to note our good friend Mike Martz here in the back. Mike,
best
right
editor in chief in the business.
We got Kristen. Who else do we have that we know?
You have Mark Irwin right here at the bottom left.
Yeah, there's Mark. I know this guy right here. There.
That guy right there. He's okay. We have Alison Marie Pond right there on the green dress.
I didn't. No, wait. No, there she is. There she is.
Alison right there. And you got where's Chaz? I see it very, very little here.
We're looking for a bright shirt. Where's Chaz?
You're looking for a bright shirt, yes. Where is Chaz? Oh, right there. He's next to Mike Mars, to his left. That guy. No, that's James.
No, right there.
Yeah,
all right. Yeah. There you go.
There you go.
All right. It's hard. I'm distracted with Mike Martz being in a blazer and looking all snazzy. All right. So here's where it started. This says 2018, 312 weeks ago. I like that you took it right off your Instagram. 312 weeks ago. What was going on here, Mark? What was the moment?
Well, as you can see, I mean, we had a different logo back then, and we basically just had like 2 comic books that we were publishing. I mean, we really went all out with Battlecats. We really decided to create a whole world out of an idea. So that piece of big green book that you see that it says Battlecats, that was actually called the Tome of Valterian. That was like an encyclopedia of that it would highlight, I mean, the different regions and the different deities and the different like bestiary and maps and everything that you wanted in regards to this world.
Oh my God, also, Mark, I gotta just say, you were speaking Mike's language. Mike, you love that stuff, right? Like, that's the story Bible. Wait, I'm gonna pause you, Mike. Do we have to read this question?
How difficult is it to acquire the rights to establish IPs for an indie publisher?
All right, I guess we're going to just jump ahead to chapter 9. Mark, Blank Stare asks a great question, which we will get to later, but let's get to it right now. Just talk about acquiring the rights to establish IP.
Yeah. Not easy because first of all, I mean, it's really, really humbling when you're able to get a license, because these licensors, I mean, they're basically just giving you their baby, and you need to come up with a publishing plan that is going to last you a few years, 3 years minimum in some cases, others 5, others 2, and you need to come with some sort of roadmap of the type of stories that you're going to be publishing. Also, it's hard because you need to get into an agreement with them and be like, okay, this is how we are going to treat your babies. This is how we are really going to respect in some of the IPs that we have 50, 60, 70 years of tradition. And we are going to do justice by doing this. So it's a lot of back and forward, but also you need to be able to actually be able to support everything that you're doing, that your books come out on time, that you have the right partners, the right printing, that you have the right marketing team, because I mean, people need to know about these books. You need to talk to your distributors, your distribution channels, that these books are coming. So it's not easy in the sense that you need to have a very solid, concrete plan for them to actually trust you with their IP. They don't want just... Sure, a lot of people, they can just go and sign up for an IP, and maybe there's some money that you have to cup up on front. But at the end of the day, is that it just depends how well you're going to treat that IP and how successful you're going to market and distribute it.
So, Mark, at this point, Mark, you're a writer primarily, yes, right? You're getting that Mad Cave out there. You and your friends. You're like, we got to be on Google Plus, as I can see right there on the logo. Right,
yeah.
You're on Google Plus. You're like, I need to be on Google Plus. Did you have a MySpace page as well?
No. I think that was the limit. I mean, that was when we decided, like, no MySpace. But look, this is how way back we go.
Mike Fasolo is trying to bring Friendster back. So
yes, that was my favorite.
At this point, Mark, you're just like every other person. You're like, I just want to put out my own comic books. First of all, which ones are you writing, and what is setting the stage here in 2018?
Mm-hmm. Well, at first I was writing everything. Buddy, from Papercutz to Midnight Task Force. Then came Honor and Curse. Then came Knights of the Golden Sun. Then came Wovenheart. But that's kind of like the books that I was working on. Then we were able to bring something called the Talent Search, and actually we invited unknown talent that actually wanted to get published. I mean, we know how hard it is to get published, so we actually did a whole talent search. Then the winners would actually be able to write a full Mad Cave series that we laid, like the blueprint. It's like, okay, this is the ideas that we want, guys. Come as work for hire, get published, get your foot in the door if that's what you want. So we felt that was an opportunity to give unknown voices a voice. So at first, when I was just doing all the writing for the company, which wasn't that smart at the time, but I think that it was the right call, because there's been a lot of trial and error. I think that with anything in life, you need to make a lot of mistakes to actually succeed and to learn. And again, I don't come from the business. I don't come from the industry. So does Chris Fernandez, that is our publishing now, and he started with me on this crazy journey. And I think that we just had a notion of, okay, we need to attack this the right way. I mean, how do you put a project together? We put our strengths together also with people down in South America, that they were helping us with a lot of the design and a lot of the planning. Gio Orozco, which has also been with me since the beginning. Miguel Angel Zapata, which is an amazing designer. He's our director of design down in Bogota. And we were just learning. We were just learning how we would be doing everything. But when a lot of people, they would just approach Mad Cave and be like, hey, listen, I want to bring my work to you guys and I want to be published. In the beginning, I mean, we said no on purpose, because I know how hard this is. I know how hard it is just to create your own world, create your own stories, give it to somebody else that unfortunately is not going to do them justice. So, and this goes full circle back to the question regarding licensing. I mean, you need to try to know what you're doing if you're going to embark with this responsibility. So I needed to learn. The whole team needed to learn. We actually needed to make our mistakes. If we published Papercutz to kickstart the company and we failed, I mean, okay, it was okay, because I mean, it was our baby. It wasn't somebody else's that actually trusted us with theirs, and then blaming Mad Cave and all that stuff. But as the company grew, then we we decided to actually, let's just say, open the doors to have some submissions sent to us, since some creators did really want to work with Mad Cave and they wanted to have their work published through us. So that was also very flattering when that came organically, and that we were able to just like handle the load and do right by them.
Well, so this is 2018, and then immediately we leap forward. It looks like a slightly bigger booth. This is now 260 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Mike just did the math on that. That's 2019.
Correct.
No, 17, right
17,
there.
yes, sir.
2017. Mike, your math was off.
Sorry, I forgot to carry the one.
So what's going on here? You guys are you guys getting slightly bigger? It looks like your booth is getting a little more elaborate. You have different titles. What's happening now?
Correct. Now we have a new title, which is Knights of the Golden Sun. That was also a title that I was writing. But by that time, if I'm not mistaken, that time we were actually publishing, the talent search winners works. So we were actually on our way to just acquiring and publishing more IPs. So yes, a bigger booth, more traction, more eyes on the brand. You can see that we have the new logo there. Again, natural progression of getting a little bit bigger.
All right. Now, I'm going to just read the bottom. This is 2018. Where are you guys here? What are you doing?
Yep. 2018 was basically Chris Fernandez, partner in crime, basically, just that he was also editing my books very early on, and here we are signing at a comic book shop in Miami, and the humble beginnings.
Mike, I don't know. I feel like we should have nice shirts like that and be signing in Miami too.
I would like. Well, Miami's a little warm for me.
You have to leave the house, Mike.
And I would have to leave the house too. Nobody likes that.
But we don't have nice shirts like that. We don't have our shirts are okay. But they're not as good. They have the sleevey shirts. Now suddenly things seem to take a leap. And you're now at the Diamond Retailer Summit.
Yep. That was huge for us, because now we were able to be to talk about our books directly to retailers. So the Diamond Retailer Summit is something that I look back really, really fondly. Because it was really like a big interaction with retailers to be like, okay, who's Mad Cave? What are your titles? What is it that you guys are all about? Talk to me about your mission. Talk to me about your vision. What is it that you guys are planning for the future? And this was just like going through the whole motions, going through the whole process of, okay, this is what we need to do. We need to get our boots on the ground and talk to retailers and try to get comic book shop excited about our content.
All right, talk to me though. Tell me what specifically did you learn by going to this summit? What did you learn?
Well, first of all, you're now sitting at a room with Dark Horse, Marvel, Boom Studios, IDW, Image Comics, people that have 30 years in the business, and you're just basically just starting out. So hearing them talk, seeing how they present their titles, seeing how they interact with their talent, see how they do their own promotion. This was a golden opportunity for us to actually start paying attention of how really the sausage is made. And I remember talking with Philip, the president of Boom at that time. I don't know if he was the VP of marketing or the president, Philip Sabek. Philip. And I remember just talking to him, and I was just amazing, just like, oh my God, he's such a force, like right now with everything that we're doing in comics. And I remember that he just told me, like, you know what, just keep plugging. What you guys are doing is great. Just keep doing it. He told me the story about the founder of Boom. He was basically just like grinding his ass off and going to different conventions and taking planes left and right and trying to promote, his brand. And that's what we're basically doing. Just trying to talk everybody's ear off about Mad Cave Studios and we were all about. So I think that's the most important thing, Buddy, that we learned is like how to showcase your brand, your product, your team.
Well, and also you were present. You were where you needed to be at that time. I'm guessing this is COVID time.
Yes.
Where are you guys at this point?
At this point, I think that's San Diego Comic-Con. That's San Diego Comic-Con. Yes, that's San Diego Comic-Con.
Mike, have you been to San Diego?
Years ago.
I've been to San Diego a couple times. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Not this year.
No? All right.
No, not last year either.
All right. And then we say where it is now. So Mark, now we're going to bring you, this is like the tour of this was your life. Now we're going to say this is your life. Mike, are we getting any comments that we need to address? Anybody?
We have no more comments.
No more comments. So
Everyone is so enthralled by your graphics that they can't think of anything to write.
I think they're watching Mike's beard grow in real time. All right, here we go. So right now you're celebrating 10-year anniversary. If hold on, let's just give you a nice round of applause for that. Because you know what? That's pretty good. Oh, Mike, what Andrew will say?
Andrew Campbell, no comment. Okay.
No comment.
Andrew's from Australia, so Mike
Andrew's from Australia.
Yeah, or New Zealand. Is he Australian or New Zealand?
He's Australian. Yeah.
Is he Australian?
Yeah. Down under.
So I'm noticing a trend here. I see the licensed properties, but also creator owned. I see your name on things. Mark, I know you've come full circle back to writing, to what are we calling this? The London verse? What's the imprint called?
That's how they affectionately, call it in behind closed doors, but it's basically the underworld, which is our little experiment for an indie publisher's shared universe. So yeah, you were right. You couldn't said it best, buddy. I was a writer. I started this being a writer. I think that I'm just wired that way, and my passion for comics is one thing, but I think that I'm never going to be able to stop creating and really trying to give my all when I need to actually try to come up with an IP for the company that could be side by side to Flash Gordon or Gatchaman or Dick Tracy or even Hound, doing my part, and I like that.
But what you did, Mark, was kind of genius in that you've set up an infrastructure to attract talent, and then you're able to say, "Oh, I'm the boss. I think this is the person who's going to do my cover. Look at that cover." You were like, I'm the boss, and everybody's like, "That's perfect for you, Mark." Who's going to say no?
But you know what? It's actually very, very humbling to be able to have an artist like Rosie Gifford just doing a cover for Revolution 9, or having Mr. Dan Panosian.
Oh wait, hold on. Let's go back. Let's do you. Hold on. Let's go over here. I love Dan Panosian. Hold on. Let's pull this up big. Yeah, Dan Panosian's amazing. He's tremendous. Love his work. His Red Sonja is outstanding. He's just doing some wonderful stuff. So you got Dan doing work for you, huh?
Yeah. So I think that it pays dividends. When you're in charge. No, but it's coming full circle. We're all creatives. We all want to highlight our work. We all want to try to sell comic books. We want to get more eyeballs on comic books. We want everybody reading comic books. So you need to make deals with the top guys. You need to actually rope them in. You need to actually have them on books. You have to treat them the best possible way, and that's why Mad Cave, I think that it's a creator-owned first comic book publishing company. So
Mark, it's good to be the king.
I try not to let that go over my head.
Mike and I totally would. Mike, how quickly would we be abusing?
I would have the biggest crown.
We would just every issue would be written by you or me, Mike. We wouldn't. We wouldn't share the wealth. Now, I'd be remiss if I. Oh, hold on. It looks like those are really cool. Oh, okay. Right.
Thank you, Redhead.
Redheaded Ed is a graphic designer, part of the Comic Book School community. Now, I'm going to scroll through here. We're not going to go too long. The London verse, Underworld. What is going to be seen in the Underworld, and From what I understand, you are bringing back some of the work that you had done earlier in your career and revisiting it now as a more mature writer. Is that what I'm understanding?
Yes, correct. I thought that it was a perfect opportunity to do it on our 10th year anniversary. So Revolution 9 was an old book that I created that it was actually written by Ben Goldsmith, RV9. And then Hour of the Wolf is basically just a spin-off. It's one of the characters of a series that I wrote called Wolvenheart. And then Exit City is the spiritual successor to something that I wrote early Mad Cave, which was called Midnight Task Force. So 3 series that can be enjoyed as a standalones. But the beauty about this is the next year they're going to collide in a big blockbuster summer event that we're going to bring the whole thing together. I grew up with crossovers. I think that they're fantastic. I mean, ways of for storytelling purposes, and we just want to have fun and want to try to get people involved. With series nowadays, I mean, they're kind of short, 5 issues, 6 issues, and they kind of just like ends. This way, I think that we can give a little bit more story to fans out there, depending on what you're up for.
Mike, wouldn't it be great for us to be able to revive things that we wrote years ago and come back as more mature writers and do them again?
It would.
So, Mark, what impact did it have on you as a writer being a publisher? That was a terribly phrased question. Being a publisher, how did that impact you as a writer? That was terrible, wasn't it? It was like really like Mark was like verb, noun. What's the question?
No. I got you. Well, the thing is that it forces you to have different hats. It forces you to put different hats on. And to be honest, I really, really enjoy it. But sometimes, I mean, it's hard because the reality of the comic book business, it's hard business. I think that it's like many other businesses out there, but making comic books, publishing graphic storytelling, graphic novels, I mean, it's hard. Competition is fierce. We're losing a lot of customers to Netflix and TikTok and Instagram and Netflix and all that stuff. So it's certainly daunting. So sometimes, I mean, when you put your business hat on and you see the realities and the challenges of the beautiful industry that we are on, but I mean, what we're faced or dealing with, it's discouraging. Because then you'd be like, okay, you put your other hat as a writer, and then you'd be like, oh, so, but why am I doing this? Why am I really, really doing this? I mean, if my readership is shrinking, or if I'm gonna really have to just like market this 10 times harder than I used to do my other books 5 years ago. But at the end of the day, again, I have to recall why I started doing this in the first place, and it's because I love it. Because really this is in my blood, because this is my passion, and this is something that I am not going to stop doing. That's why I never stopped writing. I never stopped creating IPs to publish through Mad Cave. So I'm just one little cog in the machine when it comes to just like publishing IP, but I'm also like at the forefront of what the publishing business entails.
Mike, that's a pull quote that we have to go back and we're going to pull that, right, Mike?
We'll have to go get that one. Yeah.
We have to go back. We have to remember to do something, Mike. By we, I mean you. All right. We're not going to spend a huge amount of time on each one because we do have a lot to get through. But Papercutz was an acquisition, and I would imagine a cash cow for all the right reasons, because these are getting into schools. Mm-hmm. Talk to us about Papercutz. Mm-hmm. And is it like a cash volcano? Because if it is, Mike, we should have bought Papercutz. Like if it's getting into schools, it's a cash volcano. Talk to us about Papercutz.
Cash volcano.
It is a cash volcano.
Not a cash volcano, but I mean it has a lot of potential. It has a lot of traction going for it, especially for the reasons that you're pointing out, Buddy, because yes, I mean this is the future, and that's the reason why we went after Papercutz, because when you start in comics, I mean, you have to understand that at the end of the day, you're in the publishing business. As Mark Irwin tells me all the time, and look, you're in the graphic storytelling business, and that's what we're doing. So Papercutz for us was a no-brainer because we have never stopped knowing that the most important aspect of the business is the publishing. So we don't get distracted by Hollywood, and we don't get distracted by other things that might be looking shiny out there. I mean, if they happen and if they come, beautiful. I mean, more eyes on the brand, and if you can focus on verticals, and again, they're gonna put more eyeballs on the brand, fantastic. But focus on the publishing side of things. So for Mad Cave, that you have our generation, that you have people that actually grew up with comic books and that really, really enjoy this type of stories, it was a no-brainer to just tap into middle grade, which is fertile ground for your readers of the future. We felt that it's a responsibility as a publisher to actually go into this type of business and actually nurture the kids. I mean, I have 3 kids, and they're avid readers nowadays, and they started devouring comic books because I was like, I mean, there's nothing more daunting than just giving a 6-year-old, 7-year-old, I mean, a 500-page book with no pictures. They're going to be like, what? So,
what do you want me to do with this?
Yeah, what do you want me to do with this? Is this going to be a weapon? What do you want me to do with this? You're going to make them miserable. But if you give them a comic book and you give them something, I mean, like we're trying to produce through Papercutz. I mean, and Flash Gordon from Papercutz is a beautiful example. It's a great character, tailor-made, I mean, for younger minds, and it's great. It's that's really why I do what I do.
All right. So, but Mark, a work question, and I'll phrase it in the form of: one does not simply walk into Mordor, right? One does not just walk in and buy another publisher.
Yes.
Papercutz is not like, oh, can I have 2 of those burner phones? Oh, in Papercutz. Like, how does one acquire a publisher? Are you independently wealthy? Did you buy Bitcoin at $1? Like, how did this happen?
No, Mad Cave has a set of investors, Buddy. And again, people that actually love what we do and they're committed to the cause. And when we got presented with the opportunity to acquire Papercutz, it was like, okay, let's weigh the pros and the cons. And you're absolutely right. I mean, it wasn't something that it was going to be as easy because the Papercutz deal was actually a hard one. It was actually like a year-long deal that actually, but it was actually Mark Irwin with his vast networking that he was like, look, I think that there's this opportunity. Do you want to check it out? And at first, like when I saw it, I mean, I wasn't totally sold on it because as again, you take a look at each business and you start to do some research, and then you start seeing, okay, you go into the financials and you start doing a lot of digging, and then you start seeing a lot of things like, okay, but we're doing the Mad Cave. Okay, we're publishing through Mad Cave, but we also have Maverick, which is our young adult line. So now what is this gonna entail? Because you're right, not only buying another publisher is not like, okay, the buck stops there. It's more like, okay, you have to beef up your infrastructure. You need to amp up marketing. You have to tap into other distribution channels. It opens the door to more problems. So as I always tell the team, it's just like good work leads to more work. And that was basically the reality of it. So then I started looking at Papercutz through a different lens. And I have to give it to Mr. Irwin because he was like, we should really, really go after this. This has enormous potential. The way that Papercutz was set up, I mean, I think that it was really, really, it was a good deal. But I think that the way that we're trying to structure it for the next 5 years, I think it's going to end up being an even better deal. So
yeah, I mean, it was like that time Mike and I we should have bought Instagram, Mike.
Oh yeah.
We got outbid. Can you read it in Andrew's voice for
the benefit this was a little too long, so probably not.
Come on.
Is there an IP that's not currently used in comics at the moment that you would love to work on?
Yes,
Right.
that's a great question, Andrew. Yes, there are a bunch. There are a bunch actually. Again, I grew up in the '80s, so again, I'm a sucker for Highlander. I'm a sucker for RoboCop. Um, and there are other ones that I can't tell you because
it's not been published yet. The Mike Fasolo life story, Mark.
The Mike Fasolo life story.
Yeah, that's a pretty hot IP, Mike.
We can discuss that after the show.
No, right now, Mike. So, all right. So, Mark, let's just wrap this up. You've got investors.
Yeah.
Clarify investors. It's not like your Aunt Edna and like, a guy named Vito, right? Like this is real work. This is real business, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's, of course, I mean, you have a board of directors and everything, and you have to account for everything that you're doing, and you have to just sit down with your team, which I lovingly call the brain trust, which is Mr. Irwin, Mr. Nelson, and Mr. Fernandez, and Mike Martz occasionally, and Allison Pond, and bouncing ideas back and forward with them. And then obviously take it up the ladder and be like, okay, this is what we're doing and this is what we want to do. And how do you guys feel about it? And of course, you need to have your projections. You have to have your business plan and year-to-year evaluations of, okay, this was our forecast for 2024. Okay, did we hit our AOP? Yes or no? Was this something that we set out to do? Okay, now a month ago, we actually sat down and we were talking about our AOP for 2025, and it's growing organically.
I was going to say, what's an AOP?
What's AOP?
It's basically, I mean, your forecast is your forecast for the year. It's your sales forecast for the year.
Sales
annual something
projection something. Mark, I noticed that you didn't, when you said brain trust, neither Mike nor I were mentioned in brain trust. Is that just a mistake?
That was a lapse.
That was a little faux pas.
You didn't want to embarrass us, bud.
You didn't want to embarrass us because it is our show. We'll just add ourselves to your brain trust. Okay, you got Maverick, which it seems kind of hold on. It looks like somebody answered it, Mike.
Annual overall projections. Is that true?
Real work?
No, it's your annual operating plan. Yeah.
All right. Sounds like work.
Yeah. Apparently nobody trusts our brains, bud.
They'd be wise not to. They're like, did that brain say Abby normal on it? Maverick. I love Maverick because I think that this is, well, it's definitely the complement to Papercutz, where Papercutz has established IP. This is where you're building IP. Talk to me about the vision on Maverick.
Maverick also came as a necessity just to fill that gap between Papercutz and Mad Cave, although Maverick actually came before Papercutz, but it was also in the plan that we also wanted a middle grade line. And it's basically you're hitting your different targets, is basically hitting your different target audience. Because what you're after when you're publishing is like when we announced during San Diego Comic-Con or that we were going to come up with a manga imprint next year, a lot of people were worried that we were spreading ourselves too thin and that we were actually gonna drop the ball on certain things that we're doing. But the way that we're structuring everything is this is the natural cycle, the natural progression of a publishing company. You're basically just trying to extend your lines. You have your different targets, you have your different lines, you have your different customers. What also a lot of people don't take into account is that when you're in the publishing side of things, you need to go and publish these books, and you work with different printers. Printers, they love volume, they love quantities. So going back to that, going back to your forecast, going back to your annual operating expenses plans that you're building, you need to take into account that if you bring those companies more business, they're going to give you bigger discounts. They're going to give you longer periods that you're going to be able to pay them. So it was a no-brainer for us, just that if you're going to be a publisher, Well, you need to publish books. And if you're going to be publishing books, sure, you can saturate your market. That's why there are different targets. That's where there are different lines. And we're just seeing opportunities in all these different lines that you're mentioning, buddy.
Yeah, but with any of these, Mark, I mean, I get that you have Flash Gordon and Dick Tracy and the other license. You have yours. But these are the kinds of books that could be your Captain Underpants or your Diary of a Wimpy Kid, where these things become just monstrous middle grade books that show up in those catalogs and show up in classrooms. And it is very smart that you have this line as well. So you're discovering new talent. You're bringing talent along that might need a little bit of additional practice. But right there, you've got that farm team. Mike,
100%. And what you're trying to do is basically just like have evergreen books. That's important for every publisher. And believe it or not, your backlog is super important to your AOP. It's very, very important when you have that constant flow of business and you're not just chasing, the number one issue, which unfortunately means sometimes in the comic book world, on the comic book market, we feel that that's all we do. We're chasing just number ones. And that's not it. That's really not what you have to focus on. Sure, that's part of the business. Of course, look, I'm even publishing comics. Mark London is writing comic books because I love it. But again, it has to be your whole strategy for publishing. It has to be more than that.
All right. So here's a question. Mike, you want to read that out?
Are all these imprints constantly pumping out content, or is it more for branding projects, thus properly just making it easier for a product to find their intended audience?
Constantly pumping out content. We are constantly pumping out content. The thing is that you have to actually, that's where your publisher shines, when he actually creates a pub plan that it's well balanced, so you're not overwhelming all the different lines, that you're not pumping, a book a week, because it's not sustainable. So you have to try to actually have that balancing. But for branding projects properly, those making it easy for products to find their intended audience, you have to market. That's a great question, because when you're publishing, for example, when you publish a Maverick book, which is YA, you have to actually start marketing those books almost 9 months in advance.
Wow.
You have to have those books ready to go, because you need the reviews. You need the Kirkus reviews. You need the Publishers Weekly reviews. You need your articles on Publishers Weekly. You need people talking about your books. Wow. With comic books, it's different. With comic books, it gets, your window is shorter. So it just depends. And it all comes down to your publishing plan. It all comes down to your planning.
All right. So let's keep moving on there, Mike. We only have 57 slides to go. Let's detail little overview. What are we looking at here?
Okay, this is actually Nakama Press. This is something that we were discussing earlier. That this is going to be our titles that are going to be coming out. This is what is going to kickstart Nakama Press, and this is some of the titles that we are releasing next year. Infinity T-Force, it's kind of like it's also your Battle of the Planets, or your Gatchaman, if you will. So it's also done through Tatsunoko and Udon. So we're really happy about that one.
Yeah, I remember those guys. Yeah. Back in the day. Okay. Mm-hmm. So but now you got some not so shabby partners.
No, we can't complain about those. Yes.
Yeah, this is pretty impressive. For a guy that just less than 10 years ago was sitting with two other dudes at an 8-foot table, right?
Yeah.
At an 8-foot table. So you're finding your partnerships. You've got your distribution, which is half the challenge. And now here's where you are. I do recognize that rakishly good-looking guy laying there in the front. Talk to me. It looks like, is this a different party? The same party? Is it
Same party? Same
nobody
party.
went home? You just keep taking pictures?
Yeah, same party. We just kept taking pictures. I mean, we were having so much fun. And again, that party was for the entire Mad Cave Studios team. So
that is a party that we should be invited to next. Mike, I think we saw this photo in the early. And I guess this is a more modern view of the booth. I don't. Yeah. This wasn't this year. I think it was last year.
This was last year in New York.
It's a pretty big booth, Mark.
Yeah. I mean,
there's a lot going on there.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that you need some real estate there to be able to highlight now your different imprints. So of course you need to spotlight Papercutz. You need to spotlight Mad Cave. You need to spotlight Maverick. And again, it's very interesting. And I really love conventions because it's when you get face to face with your fans or with your customer base, and you can see it in their eyes what they want, what is they're passionate about. And I really love going to conventions.
Yeah, well, I got to tell you, like from the activity at your booth, I was there last year. I went there this year and saw some friendly faces there. Mm-hmm. I mean, the way you've set this up, how important is merchandising, and what thought process do you have when you go into this merchandising? A, it's very similar, but B, still very distinct. Talk to me about the way you've merchandised your booth.
Mm-hmm. Well, first of all, I mean, it's props to Allison and the whole marketing team, because they're the geniuses behind all this, and also Kurt Nelson, Anna Scalera, which is our sales team, and they're the ones that actually come up with your strategy. And also, not only is just putting everything up, but also we have always people at the booth, people like Spencer Nellis, or we have Stephanie Brooks, or we have Maya, or we have Frank, which are part of the team, and they know the books inside out. So it's also very important to be able to know your books, to be able to come up with your elevator pitch for each of the books. When a customer, just comes and be like, "Oh, you know what? I'm really into Winx, which is your Fate saga, but talk to me a little bit about Chloe, or talk to me a little bit Nottingham. This looks cool. What is it?" So you also have to have a knowledgeable team that has the ability to actually sell these books in a short amount of time.
Well, yeah, and the booth is very striking, and it is very notable that there are not that many publishers attending the show the way they used to. I keep showing this picture. I don't know what's going on. I must like that. Mark, we're going to take an inside look at your studio real quick before we start to come toward the conclusion. What's going on here, Mark?
This is my bookshelf. This is my one of the bookshelves. So like where I like to display like all my. This is my whole geekness at its best, right? So I like my Japanese samurai swords, and I like my manga, and I like my pop-up Game of Thrones books, and of course my Batman, and we even have some Messenger C at the back there. Just a little preview of.
Yeah, I see. What is it, Calvin? Is that the Calvin and Hobbes?
Yes, that's the Calvin and Hobbes right there. Next to it is the Conan Omnibus.
The Conan Omnibus. Yeah. Is that the Conan Omnibus?
That one, yes.
Hold on, let me send you my mailing address. My birthday just came. He didn't have my address. So wait, is this your house, or is this the?
No, this is the office. This is the.
You
office.
Let people go near your stuff?
Yes, unfortunately, I have to.
Oh my God.
I have cameras everywhere, though.
All right, good. What is this? This is
This is a little conference room. This is where you guys are coming next to the Brain Trust meeting. So this is where we're going to have our next Brain Trust meeting. So, Buddy, Mike, I'll send you the address next time.
All right, sounds good.
I think I'm too fat for any of those chairs. I think I need bigger chairs. All right, so what do we got here? This is that scale, Mark? Like that looks like a pretty big.
That's pretty big. That's 1/6. That's one of my favorite Batman movies is of course the Tim Burton movie, and I just freaking love his
Just pause. Mark, true or false? Did you get into this just so that you could buy shit and have tax write off?
No, I actually no. That's the problem. I've been buying shit since I was like 4 years old. That's the problem.
Oh, so you already had this. You can't even write this off.
That's why he has the big office, so he can put all the stuff in it.
This actually justifies all the shit that I have.
Now we know. Now you built this infrastructure.
Yeah.
Just to have a place to put this stuff. Wait, all right. So you're telling me you had this thing before?
Yes. Yes. That's like I've been and I can show you right now. Well, I have it back there, but that's also the Batmobile right there.
See,
Scale. You
just said my favorite thing, Mike. By the way, I do have to note. I'm going to just pull this up. I'm a Batmobile aficionado, and Mike sent me a gift. Let me go big here. It just came in, Mark. Finally, a new Batmobile that I do not have. This will go with the collection, Mike. I did not have this one. Wow. Thank you very much. I'm a Batmobile guy, Mark, so I'm with you. I think also having 3 kids and all those collectibles, it's probably a good idea to keep them away from the children.
Of course. But they know that eventually it will get passed down to them against my will.
Theoretically.
Yeah, you're right.
Theoretically.
Depends on how good they are.
Who's cleaning up the dishes? You might or might not be getting those items. So all right. So where are we? So we're still in Mark's. This is Mark's apartment, right, Mark?
No, that's the backside. That's actually like like a little get together.
What are you doing here? Like, what work gets done on that chair? Right here, this chair here. So you see somebody sitting on that chair, do you just go like, get back to your desk?
Exactly. You'd be like, no. I think that this is more for my wife. I think that when she comes and visit, I'd be like, okay, that's her space right there.
So she feels like protected. She has a wall. She has samurai swords.
Exactly.
She's good.
Yeah.
This is pretty impressive. Fasolo, what do you think? Do you think, like, with all the space you have in that mansion that you live in, do you think you could do something that spruces it up a little bit?
No, not like this. This is a place that I would like to just go and sit in those chairs and
this is next level stuff, Mike.
Yeah, I know. That looks like my home that I would like.
What is the Spider-Man thing?
That Spider-Man, that actually, my wife is an artist and she actually drew it. And it's kind of yeah. So again,
wait, come on.
Yeah.
Your wife did what? Your wife did what?
Yeah, she did the Spider-Man.
All right, hold on. We're gonna zoom in on this. I gotta, Mike, bluff for time as I go find the right slide.
You gotta hit the buttons and do all that stuff, bud.
I gotta hit the buttons. Look, it's not responding.
So you locked up again.
I did lock up, as in everything in life. All right, so wait. Your wife. Now, what exactly is that? Is it like little individual?
Yeah, it's actually like the canvas. I mean, she bought that canvas in that weird form it's kind of just like, and she put it together.
So you're saying like a multi-talented family versus like what Mike and I live in is a nominally talented family.
Nominally is a very strong word.
Very strong. Very strong word. Hey, look, that's me as Wolverine. There you go.
I love my Wolverine. Yeah.
I love you too. This is nice. You got you continue the theme. There's your Batmobile, which I completely approve of. You got your logo. You've got your omnibuy. See that, Mike? Omnibus, plural. Like,
is that true? Like it's an omnibuy?
Well, you have multiple. It's you conjugate the word, and it's omnibuy.
All right.
And I'm gonna buy. Those things aren't cheap either, right? Those are like
no. Those things are, again. That's why I love the comic book medium. I mean, look what this company's made us buy. Look.
Do you know I'm in at least 2, maybe 3 omnibus editions, and Marvel hasn't sent me any of them.
No way.
I had to go buy them. What a humiliation. I was like, I gotta pay full freight for something I worked on. And then I was like, am I getting royalties on this? And they sent me like a check for like $9. I'm like, I don't know. It seems sketchy. Send me a copy of the book. All right, there's another view of that. What's over here? What are these, like sippy cups or something?
That's actually beer.
Beer? Is it Ned Cave beer?
That's what was left from the 10-year anniversary party that you showed in the picture. And that's actually a very we actually had some beer cans made that it says Mad Cave. I'm gonna send some to you, buddy. And I'm gonna send something to you too.
I am just blown away by like you are the perfect fan that became a pro. What is Gatilla saying here?
He liked the section of Deadly Class and Black Science.
Oh yeah. Hey, I'm a Remender fan. Love everything Remender.
Good eye on that guy, huh?
Remender.
Matthew K says hi.
Hi, Matthew.
Hi.
Hi, Matt.
Hi. Yeah, you got a good reading collection here. Do you just collect them or do you read them?
I read them, but I actually like again, I've always had like the floppy trade paperbacks, the ones that we can actually take, but this is the stuff that you actually want to display. So these are usually the hardcovers. These are like the special editions, and man, I'm a sucker for this stuff.
Yeah, before I leave the office every night, I count everything.
Yeah.
I wouldn't trust
walking out of the building.
I wouldn't trust anybody. I'd be like, all right, good night, guys. Lock the door. All right, so you got the books, you got this. All right, so Mark, I have to say, you just blew us away with your publishing plan and how you've brought it to life and all the things that you've done. One question that we ask not that one. Hold on. One question that we ask, no, not that one. No, I'm just playing now. One question that we ask every creator is, what is one piece of advice that you wish you had received earlier in your career?
Oof, I wish that I could, first of all, I wish that I could have talked to you guys early in my career. No, seriously, because again, like we were talking about, I mean, starting out, I mean, it was so hard to get good information about the publishing business, the comic book world. Yeah. So knowledge, I think that it's really, we made a lot of mistakes starting out because again, we didn't know what we were doing. So a lot of the things actually had to be learned the hard way. And I wish that somebody could have just told me, like, listen, you need to take a step back, do the research, understand exactly what you're doing, because be careful what you wish for, because it might come true. And a lot of people get into this business because, yes, they might like it. They might feel that it's great, but it's, as we've talked and you've highlighted in other podcasts, buddy, it's very hard work. So it's set your expectations. Don't be too hard on yourself. Don't let perfection be the enemy of the good. Go with the flow. Learn, be better, read everything that is out there. Do your research. Gravitate toward people that are very, very talented. And most importantly, work with people that see the world like you do, that they actually want to create something, that they know where you're coming from. The amount of horror stories of bad partnerships that they are in this industry are a million, just to put it mildly. So work with people that they see the world like you do, and work with the best. Surround yourself with people that are good-hearted people and that are truly professionals, that are in it to win it. And those are the people. Don't be afraid to be like put in your corner and be like, hey, listen, that's not the right way to do it. Perfect. Let's listen to your idea. Be humble. I think that's also key of trying to start and not believe that okay, I'm in comic books now, I'm this big hotshot that, I mean, because I had a few successful comic books here and there. I mean, no, you're just as good as your last comic book. So you have to keep up in your level.
I got to tell you that really is good advice, and I think it just shows why you have started off in just a small amount of time and grown such a big publishing empire. Mark, there's so much more for us to unpack, and can't do it again. Do it on 1 hour. Two return visits. One, to continue the conversation. There's some other things that I'd like to unpack, especially your talent searches and your commitment to creator-owned properties. A lot of people are very interested in that. And then a second appearance for the zombie apocalypse.
Yes. Let's do it.
So, Fasolo, any sage words of advice or thoughts or questions before we put our guest into the green room?
Enjoy the fish sticks and cheese balls.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mark. That's Mike just told you what's in the green room. Andrew Campbell said, "Great advice, comma, ... If only the best want to surround me." And then I don't know if he's sweating or something, but I believe the best want to surround you, Andrew Campbell. You seem like a nice guy. We like you. But Mark, we're going to put you in the green room. Mike, what's waiting in the green room for Mark?
Fish sticks and cheese balls.
Fish sticks and cheese balls.
Wow. Okay. So
Mike really went above. Are they already? Are they still frozen? Does he have to like?
Oh no, there's a microwave back there.
Twizzler. Oh, don't eat the Twizzlers.
Don't eat the Twizzlers. They're Kirkland.
Yeah. Those are Twizzlers the ones that you put on the? No, that we're thinking Twizzlers. Those are different things. Those are. I was thinking tassels, Mike. Those are different. So Mike does a show with tassels, Mark. You can't be beat. You feed this guy some Mad Cave beer, and that guy and his tassels.
Done.
What a show!
All right. Good.
What a show! All right, Mark. One more time. Thank you very much. We're going to put you in the green room. Be prepared. We might pull you back. Thank you so much for joining us. Like, why did he have to be such a nice guy? Why couldn't he have been like?
What you want to be mean?
I thought maybe he could be a tyrant or something. Like oh, what's your best advice? Rule over people with an iron fist or something. And oh, hold on, you got a congratulations, Mark. If somebody thanks.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you, Blank Stare.
No blank stare.
Thanks. Blank Stare. The way to thank him is to go buy his books, right, Mike? I mean, that's really the way to thank our guest. The way to thank our guest is to go out. Mark? What should they go get? What's on the stands right now?
Right now, we have Flash Gordon, we have Gatchaman, we have Dick Tracy, the Underworld universe. So my 3 books are out: Revolution 9, Hour of the Wolf, Exit City. We'd love for you guys to check it out, and everything else, Mad Cave. I'm sure that you're gonna find something that appeals to you, and you will enjoy it or your money back.
Wow, that is those are big. Did you grow that beard while you were just in the green room, or did you have that on the whole time?
I had that. You see, I mean, we're growing beards now. We're just like.
I'm not sure if I'm probably not very good at detail. I thought he just grew that just now. Anyway, Mike, I think that this was a great episode. I think we learned a lot, didn't we?
Oh yes, absolutely. We got to have him back to learn more stuff.
So I'm grateful to Mark. We should also thank Allison Pond for setting this up. She is an unsung hero, really. And a shout out to all of our friends there at Mad Cave who are incredibly nice to us every time we talk to them, see them at conventions. Mark, thanks for joining us. Good night, everybody. We'll see you next Tuesday. We have a special guest from Hollywood, Mike, to be announced. So be sure to watch our Twitter stream and look for us next week, as in every Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern